So for the past 3 weeks, I've been living this kind of weird double life with two different AI assistants. One is like this polished, buttoned-up employee you hire right out of the box. The other, well, the other is more like a wild creature you have to build and tame yourself. But this isn't just a tech review. It's really a story about three people I watched try to figure all this out and the choices they made along the way.
And through all of their stories and my own experience, I just kept circling back to this one single question. Is all that power you get from having total control really worth the headache, the sheer complexity of it all? Because when you strip everything else away, that's the choice we're all starting to face. All right, so first, let's talk about Maya. She's this brilliant designer, but honestly, her digital workspace was a complete disaster. You know the type. Her downloads folder was just a sea of chaos. Thousands of files from hundreds of projects just scattered. She didn't need another weekend project. She needed a fix, like right now. She decided to give Claude Coworker a shot. It's Anthropic's official desktop app. And get this, I actually timed her. From the second she decided to do it to the moment she was typing in her first command. It took 4 minutes and 37 seconds. That's it. No command line, no servers, just a download, a click, and she was in.
So she typed out this monster of a request. You can just feel the mix of hope and, total skepticism in this command. It's the kind of task you put off for years. It felt like a Hail Mary. She hit enter and just waited.
About 12 minutes later, it was done. 847 files, all neatly sorted. Brand new folders, perfectly organized, spreadsheets just generated out of thin air. The feeling she described was just pure, unfiltered relief. It was magic. She didn't have to fight with it. She didn't have to learn some new system. It just worked. But then the bubble popped. A few days later, she's on her secondary computer, needs to grab a file, and she instinctively thinks, oh, I'll just ask my assistant. And nothing. It wasn't there. That's when she realized the magic was trapped. Her amazing new employee was basically chained to her MacBook. Now let's completely switch gears and meet Leo. Leo is the developer. He practically lives in the command line, and his work is split across a MacBook, a Linux machine, and a Windows laptop. For him, an assistant that's stuck on one computer isn't an assistant at all. It's just an obstacle. He needed something that could actually follow him around. So he went with Moltbot, the open source do-it-yourself option. His setup wasn't 4 minutes. Nope. It was a 2-hour gauntlet, firing up a server, battling firewalls, cloning code from GitHub, hunting down API keys. You could see the moments of doubt, staring at a config file, probably wondering if this was all a huge mistake.
But here's the payoff for all that pain. Leo's assistant doesn't live in some desktop app. It lives inside his chat clients. He can start a conversation with it on WhatsApp on his phone, pick it right back up in Telegram on his laptop, and get alerts from it in Discord on his main rig. It's the same mind, the same memory, absolutely everywhere. And the level of control he has is just total. He can swap out the AI's brain whenever he wants. Use Claude for complex stuff, GPT for speed, or even a local model when he's on a plane with no Wi-Fi. He literally built his own custom commands to automate his coding workflow. See, Maya's assistant does what she's told. Leo's does what he builds it to do. So for Leo, yeah, those 2 hours of setup hell were 100% worth it. His assistant isn't just another tool he opens. It's a constant presence. It's just there, a part of his world, no matter which screen he's looking at. And that brings us to our third person, Alex. Now, Alex isn't a designer trying to get organized or a developer trying to be efficient. He's an enthusiast. He's totally in love with that whole Jarvis fantasy from the movies. And when Moltbot went viral online, he got completely swept up in the hype. He was seeing posts like this all over the place. The excitement was infectious. So he didn't just test the waters. He dove in, head first. He actually went out and bought a dedicated Mac Mini just to be his 24/7 AI employee, always on, always waiting for a command. And at first, it was unbelievable. He actually used it to buy a car. He told it to scour Reddit for real-world pricing, email a dozen dealerships to start negotiations, and it did it all. It ended up saving him over $4,000. He was living the dream. He had his Jarvis. But then, one night, he's just scrolling through X, and he sees a post from one of the actual developers of Moltbot. And in an instant, that feeling of living in the future just evaporated, and it was replaced by this cold knot of anxiety.
He was about to learn about the sharp edges.
All of a sudden, he realized he wasn't just a user. He was the system administrator. When you give an AI total access to your computer, you're responsible for securing it. A simple mistake could broadcast his private API keys to the whole world. A cleverly worded message from a stranger could hijack the entire machine. That same power that saved him money on a car could just as easily wipe his hard drive clean. So there you have it. Maya, Leo, and Alex. We've got a simple tool, a powerful companion, and a dangerous toy. 3 totally different people who ended up in 3 totally different realities. And it all comes back to that central trade-off. When you lay it all out like this, the choice becomes incredibly clear, doesn't it? On one side, you've got Maya's world, 5 minutes to set up, 0 maintenance, but you're locked in. On the other side is Leo's world, 2 hours of work, ongoing tinkering, but you have absolute, total control over everything. And that's really the most important thing to understand here. There is no single best AI assistant. For Maya, who lives and works on her one Mac, Cowwork was the perfect answer. For Leo, who jumps between 3 different operating systems, Moltbot's complexity was a price he was happy to pay. And for Alex, well, the power was amazing, but it came with some serious risks he never even considered. So this really brings us to the final question, the one you have to ask yourself. What are you looking for? Do you want a simple, reliable employee that just does its job inside some very clear guardrails? Or are you looking for a toy, a really powerful, endlessly fascinating, and yeah, potentially dangerous toy? Your answer to that question tells you everything you need to know.